Welcome to the Traveller 2025 Mayday event. I'm your host, Frank Succardi of CyborgPrime Games. My guest today is Mr. Craig A. Glesner of Thornwood-Daarnulud LLC. He's the creator of the Herald Starship deck plans for Traveller 5 and a longtime lover of the game of Traveller. Welcome back, Craig.
Good. Thanks for having me yet again.
Thanks for joining us.
Yeah.
It's nice to have enthusiastic people who like to come back and support the event, so thank you so much for yours.
Yeah, no problem. And again, as usual, we're putting up the gotta put up the VTT bundle again like we did last year. So 2 of those. Because shipping books is a little out of my pay grade now that I'm on disability. But,
yeah, it could be pricey. I had to ship some stuff over to Canada and some things to England. Yikes.
Oh, dude, I swear, every time there'd be one in America, the United States, which would be fine, no problem. That's continental United States of America, general postage. But every year you pull somebody from bloody England and I'm having to ship that thing across the pond, and that's like $40.
It costs more than the book.
Yeah,
ship it.
Yeah. Like, holy moly. So, yeah, I just can't be making those kind of numbers anymore, sadly.
Hey, man, people enjoy the digital as much as the, hardback's nice, but, digital has the advantage of it can be shipped anywhere instantly and doesn't take up shelf space.
No, it does not, which is nice.
So, Craig, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself? Why don't you give us we've covered this in the past, so you don't need to go into super detail, but you want to just give us your gaming origin story, how you came to get into gaming and eventually how that led to producing content for Traveller?
Being a messed up kid whose parents put him in the mental institution, that's how I got to gaming. They do not. I love how they always act like gaming's going to lead you to the mental. It actually kind of led me out, people. I had my very first D&D game in Ward. And, that's why I don't play Thieves anymore, and I'm weird at Greed Trap. Also, the first time at DM was like, there's the roll, buddy. There's the chart. You're just dead. Sorry. Like, But when I was 18, I ended up hooking up with the third floor UWM Union in Milwaukee and started playing Village and Vigilantes. One of our group, Zed, the great Ed Schoenfeld, started his Traveller campaign, and I got to play Octavian in space, which was kind of dope, except I didn't know jack shit about Octavian and probably would have played it way differently had I known. But it kind of made sense at the time. I was like 18 and knew nothing, but I had a bunch of history majors around me who knew what to do. And that was my introduction to Traveller, and I've been loving it ever since. I should still somewhere have my full collection of little black books. I did development for Traveller 5. I did work with Greg Lee on his Circa to Circa campaign book. And published, of course, the Herald, the epitome of space yachts, as I see fit. Think of it.
Have you been have you worked as an editor or on advisory committees and things like that? Are you have you ever been a moderator on any of the forums or boards related to?
Oh, I'm technically still a mod on Cody. I can't believe they gave me the badge, but honestly, it's probably because I didn't get stupid about when they gave me tickets. And they're like, no, you did the word. Did you or did you not say the thing? And I was like, it's not what I meant. And they're like, did you say the words? Yeah, I said the words. All right.
Mm-hmm.
Gonna be persnickety about this? No, I did it. And once I was just like, yeah, I said it and I'll say it again. You give me my ban. I don't care. You deserve what he got told. And they.
So you had enough experience with the banning system that firsthand that they figured you'd make a good moderator.
Actually, I think I got might have gotten a 3-day, but I know I got dinged for real at least twice.
Oh, whoops.
And that's it's on my public record. The thing gets me is everybody acts like we're out there using the ban hammer and shit. It's just like, No, it's a very Volani style government up in the tower. There's a
It's
lot of talk about like, this person does have some good points and this and that, but we definitely probably should say something about the way they're talking about people, talking to people about those points.
yeah, yeah.
It's
It's
just,
hard to manage a group of people sometimes. There's like personality clashes and stuff. I think I've only had to remove one or two people. There's 2,000 people in my Traveller Facebook group, and I think I've only had to remove two people. And they're not banned. They can come, but I have a policy like if you make amends, if you apologize, and like you can come back, but everybody's too proud to apologize, so no one's ever taken me up on that.
Yeah. Sometimes, I don't know if you remember Hans over on Cody or not.
No.
If you ever hung out there, but he knew a lot. He had a really good grasp on the universe, etc. But he kind of was a pedantic dick at times.
Yeah.
And finally, he was like, "Dude, you gotta chill out with that shit." He was like, "Wait, I'm coming off like a pedantic dick." I'm like, yeah, as one pedantic dick to another, hoax." And it turned out that nobody'd actually just been like, "Dude, you need to stop being such a stick up your ass about things. You have good things to say and stuff." So a lot of the times it's just like, could you maybe not be as much of a dick? That's really what we want here. Stop, dogging on each other and stick to, arguments. And sometimes, kids, they're just going to be flame wars that are unextinguishable because of the nature of them. The old stealth in space, Oh my God. That's a holy war, boy.
I know. Everybody has their opinion about different things and how everything should work. And, sometimes there's an impasse or like, it's like, well, who cares? It's however people want to play it in their game. So, it's really kind of nobody else's business, right?
But my personal opinion on the whole flame war of stealth in space is, no, you can do some stuff, but the biggest aspect of stealth in space is it's huge. In order to actually fully scan the sky, as we're finding out now in the real world looking for asteroids, is holy shit, it's big and there's a ton of shit out there. So, unless you're a tech level 9 world with a hell of a good amount of satellites out looking out into space, the truth is the biggest, stealth in space is don't be seen. Use the immensity of what you got to scoot around. When you jump out behind the gas giant so the home world can't, your target world can't see you. And then engage your black globes and come around behind. From behind. Which is, I didn't know you could jump with black globes. I always thought that was.
Yeah, I didn't know that either. Well, everybody can just do what they want in their own universe. I tell my players, if you want to jump with a black globe, or if you want any kind of like special rule, that's fine. A house rule, it's fine. But the bad guys get to do it too.
Yep.
And that usually is like a self-tempering thing. They're like, do we really want to? Like, can we have combat? Can we have battle dress? Yes, but then that will get other people with battle dress all excited, and they're going to want to come and like challenge you. So you're going to have to like justify why you get to keep your battle dress because other people can be challenging you all the time. And they were like, okay, I don't want to mess with other people in battle dress.
Funny that. Especially with Traveller combat being as dangerous as it is.
Yeah, it's like, can we do like shitty underworld stuff? Yeah, sure. But you're going to get the attention of the local crime boss.
Yeah, because, you're doing shady stuff and there are already people usually doing that.
Yeah, you're stepping on his toes,
Yeah, no, for real. Like once you get outside the starport, kids, it's a different world out there.
Yeah, right. So, have you've been playing since the Little Black Book days?
Oh God, yes. I love my
And
little
have
book.
you played? Have you played all the different editions?
I have never played Hero. In fact, I don't even know if I. Oh, I mean, I probably have it in the dev pack that Mark sent me. I think it's in there. And I never played D20. I have played GURPS or played around with GURPS. I had some GURPS Traveller books. I originally got them because I didn't want to have the Empire end, although I've come to the conclusion that empires had their lives, and the Third Imperium had a pretty good run. But and their fluff is good. I like that. So yeah, it's pretty much just been that Black Book, T5, GURPS. Dips my toe a little into Mongoose. I mean, oh my God, dude, when I was building my character for the Monday game, they said use Mercenary. So I went and pulled out my copy of, I think it's first edition Mongoose Mercenary. And I'm flipping through it looking for, the table regeneration and everything. But it's not the same Mercenary book 4 that it was in Little Black Book. But on the other hand, I came across a piece of my writing. It was just like, hey, that sounds familiar. Read the first line, I was like, oh yeah, I did actually write that, which was kind of fun because I'd forgotten I actually had writing in it. Yeah. So yeah, no, pretty much that's been, my escapade in the Traveller. Like I said, I'm just now getting into Mongoose because that's what we're using in the Monday game. So I got to kind of familiarize myself with that one. Which, like I said, I have some things I like the events tables for like career and life events. That's always cool because I used to play Historian games like the original actual Cyberpunk game, their Rogue Giant Robots game, and Teenagers from Outer Space, and a couple of their other games. So Life Path was something I always rather liked anyway. So them adding it to Traveller is kind of like, yeah, it's cool, more crunch. Which, was nice because it got my character an ally and interesting kind of messed up relationship, but also cool.
I do like the
And
way they've included that in their character creation. One of the things like I used to do with the older versions of Travelers, after I rolled up my character, I'd get out the Heroes of Tomorrow book, which is a book full of tables of how to generate like your character's backstory, and like you roll for how like they have one for fantasy, one for sci-fi, one for modern spies or whatever
genres.
Yeah, but so it says like you roll these on all these tables, like on the day you were born the cow died and the moon turned blood red and the house burned down and you were born with a birthmark shaped like a Big Dipper on your butt, or like whatever, and wise people from the nearby town came to pay homage. I mean, it's like this whole crazy thing, and then the sci-fi one has something similar, but it's kind of like they took that and smushed it in with their character generation system, so I don't have to do that anymore, and it gives you, some like. If you write down all that stuff during character generation, even though it's just like little nuggets, like you went on a diplomatic mission and were bribed, roll if you take the bribe or not or whatever, you could just write that out into a little history scenario with your own details later. And
that's how I ended up with an ally. You're like, something went wrong. You turned on your officer? No, nope. I'm a corporal. Whatever lieutenant said is what happened. And so I ended up with an ally out of that, which was kind of cool. So yeah, no.
Like did you use the connections rule to make connections with any of the other characters?
No, not current. As far as I know, I'm pretty much just gonna come in blind. and my 2 crappy ship shares and be like, "Goodbye."
That's also kind of a cool thing. If during character generation, like you can come up with a story why like your characters, 2 people's characters might interact or like know each other from then or whatever, then you can each get an extra skill involved.
Oh, yeah, they are kind of good on the skills. I do like that.
Yeah.
I'm not cheap on the skills. I mean, you can still, as my steward character points out, get boned in the first couple terms, but
well, you get a lot of skills. You do, maybe get more skills in classic Traveller, but they're not at high level. And really, what they're doing is just negating the untrained on a lot of skills. So, you don't have to be like totally inept at everything you do, except there's things that you've been specifically trained for.
Oh yeah, no, I had to cut some skills back because of the int edu rule, and it was like, oh man, I had mad skills because old CT books would let you get ridiculous with those. Oh, special assignment, you get training in commando. You see if you can get these 3 skills. Oh, that's always Went to staff college twice. That was fun. No, I do. I'm looking at Mongoose second. Looking at Mongoose, it's like Matt did some actually genuinely cool things for the game. I like that they expanded the whole charging thing into a genuine life path. Because I mean, that's always kind of how we played it to begin with. You do your terms, you figure out what happened in your terms. You make a little story about like, and then this happened, that thing. So to me, it's a pretty good addition to the game, in my opinion.
Yes, I agree. Are you on other like advisory committees? Didn't you do something with Traveller 5?
Yeah.
Did you get in on that during the like as on an advisory committee when it first started being
I got in because John McKinney was an ace. And his kid's pretty cool too. Hey, Michael, if you're listening. But Don let me into the T5 group before I technically had the disc because I didn't know about the disc. And I'm just like, found it on the internet, ended up on Cody, and was just like, I want in. And he was like, yeah, I don't see your name anywhere on the list. I'm like, well, I'll tell you what. As soon as I get paid, I will get the disc and I'll send you the receipt. Let me in. And on my word, he did. And so I did, Like, here you go. See, bought it. And hooked up with Rob Eaglestone and found out he was working through Starships. And since that's always been my fun place in Traveller, I ended up working on that. And I am, along with Rob, one of the people who argued for Book 2 style Starship design in Traveller 5 because I'm just like, yes, Don, I know you love High Guard. You math people are, really into that. Look, I can do it all by formula. I'm a plug and play guy. I do not want it to sit here and figure out like X percentages for people to live in, X percentages for guns. It's like, that's not fun. That's math. Looking down the list and going, I want this, I want that module, I want that component. That's shopping. That's much more fun.
Mm-hmm. You'd prefer like modular design over like granular like design.
Oh yeah. I mean, no, don't get me wrong. I love stage effects, which I use ruthlessly in my designs. But no, I'm old school. So book 2 to me was always actually how I built ships. I went to High Guard if I needed like specialized things like, launch tubes or drop capsules or something, the one of those things that's in High Guard specifically.
Mm-hmm.
But for T5, dude, we were just at a point where like in the development period where we were adding things because I'm just like, why is there no office? component, There needs to be an office component, so
You mean
that you
like
can
a
have an
captain's
office.
ready room or something? Like, what do you
No, I
mean?
mean like a goddamn office.
Okay.
Chair, desk, computer, safe.
Okay. Conference table.
No, that's a conference
That would
room.
be a
That's an
conference
entire
room. Okay. Gotcha.
component.
Yeah. Okay.
Which you should know since you worked on one.
Yeah. There's a big ass conference table in the middle of the
Yeah.
one of the
Herald.
rooms on the Herald. Yeah.
Toward the front. Which, probably not you definitely want to be toward the back wall when you get seating in that one. I just imagine it's not terribly comfortable necessarily toward the nose because that slant coming in. But, you make do with what you got.
Yeah. And
And the
so,
observation.
go on. Sorry, I didn't mean to step on you there.
I was just going to say the observation lounge is for where you hold your parties and stuff, so you don't want a big table in there.
Right.
Big empty space with the gun for you drink drinks and look out and go, wow, I'm glad we're running up that world. Go ahead. You had
Well, I was just going to say, like, I was going to segue from, Traveller 5 and the Herald. The Herald is like a Traveller 5 licensed product, right?
Correct, Mundo.
Yeah, and so what gave you the idea? I really I enjoyed making the maps for that, the VTT maps. What gave you the idea? And how did because you and I collaborated on that, and kind of what gave you the how did you visualize how the Herald looked like on the inside?
I kind of didn't. I'll be honest. That's a lot of Mark Lucas's work there in that deck plan. I had a shell and I had components. I had a base idea of where, the bridge should probably be somewhere up on the nose around here, so it looks cool and stuff. And the gun should be out on the edges of the wings. But as far as internal layout, a lot of that was I trust my artist. Ian, same thing. A lot of those things that he would ask questions would be like, well, as long as it's got these things in it, boom, have a day. I do more of the what goes into it than I am. I haven't drawn a hand drawn deck plan in ages. So no, it's pretty much. I had an idea what it should look like on the outside. I often do that,
right?
But the wrapper and the ingredients usually end up going to the artist, and the artist is so far both Mark Lucas and Ian Stead have been really, really good at that and have translated those things into actual deck plans that make sense. There's been times where I've been like, can we move this or that? But on the whole, I pay people professionally because they're professionals and they know what they're doing better than I do. That's the whole point.
Right. What inspired you to create the Herald and the yacht ship in the first place? What do I want to say? Like the stock yacht's shortcomings that you wanted to improve upon.
With the exception of Ian's beautiful work, and even then, I gotta say, the stock yacht's kind of not pretty, shall we say?
You're trying to say the stock yacht is fugly?
No, I reserve that solely for Serenity. Anything done by Chris Foss is fugly. I do not like his work, which is why I will never like Serenity as a ship. I'm sorry, kids. That gooseneck gives me 1970s flashbacks, and I don't like that.
Right.
But no, I needed a big ship for a bunch of players, and I had a high-level count, and I'm just like, I cannot stuff that many players into that tiny-ass little 200-ton piece of crap that's worthy of a Baron at best. This guy's a count. I need a count-style ship. And I'm like, you know what? It's time to make a larger vessel. It'll give me enough space to transport all the players around, and it makes sense that, someone of a high level like account would have definitely something far superior to that tiny little Vanderbilt 200-ton thing that half of it's taken up by subcraft, which is the worst part. Is it's not only is it a tiny little ship, but it's a tiny little ship with like a launch and an ATV. Each in their separate components. It's not even like you park the ATV in the launch, as I recall. As I recall, there's a garage for the ATV, so that takes up more space. I'm just like, it's not a particularly good-looking ship, though I do have them Traveller bug eyes. But yeah, I'm just like, it's too damn small, and it doesn't look like a yacht to me. So I sketched out some ideas. I set myself a tonnage and my wish list. I went in and, as usual, was like, I'm going to cut some stuff because you always end up doing that. And eventually, Mark was like, "That's really cool. Let me do some deck plans for you." And he whipped up that beautiful deck plan. And Stephanie did me the super banger cover that I'm pretty sure is still selling the book because mine was kind of ass. She was very, very cool about it, but she wasn't telling me something I didn't know. I mean, I was looking at it going, "That's kind of ass," but I don't know how to make covers because my graphic design was ages ago and probably way out of date. And then so she whipped me up that absolutely gorgeous cover, and the rest is history, as they say. Mm.
Awesome.
And
Well, it's a nice book. It's I like the hardback, and it's something to be proud of. You built something and you put it out there into the Traveller world and enhance the Traveller world that much more. So thank you.
Oh, you're quite welcome. Man, honestly, dude, it amazes me how the reviews of it are pretty much. I mean, the biggest negative review I've gotten on it so far has been when Anthony Miller was like, "Okay, dude, you wanted honesty. Honestly, you need to fix your typos. Your typos are atrocious and they're everywhere and they really bother me." And I'm like,
Oops.
okay, but that's what I wanted. I genuinely thank him for that because
Yeah, no, that's fair.
exactly. I mean, I didn't know that, And
It's
otherwise,
hard when you're editing your own stuff, or even if you have like just one other editor. Like when you're reading the same thing that like you read wrong the first time, and you're not gonna like necessarily catch it the second or third time. You get a blind spot to it.
you do. That's one of the reasons I'm having problems. Also, is having to go back and reread my stuff. I'm just like, oh my God, it was bad enough having to type it. Now I have to go back and reread it, and I know I'm going to find errors and things I have to correct.
Yeah. I try to put as much stuff as I can in front of my gaming community friends, like for review, like for them to help me catch stuff because, a lot of times, like I'll like I don't take my finger off the caps, the shift key fast enough, and so I often capitalize the first two letters of words.
Oh yeah, no, I hear that so much on that real iPad keypad, and I find myself doing that on my keyboard for the iPad, kind of more than I'd like. Yeah.
Yeah. So having like extra eyes on it is super helpful for like editing purposes.
Oh yeah, for real.
And also, people, if you have like a good community who's honest with you, they can tell you, no, that looks like caca. Like fix that.
And, I mean, honestly, the best things that have happened to me have been two people pointing out, like, Stephanie going, "Your cover's ass. Can I make you one?" And Anthony being like, "Your typos are ass. You need to fix that." And it's like, all right,
Are you going to fix them and put out a second edition?
Oh, I've been thinking about it for years now.
So no.
Yeah.
No, they're minor typos. They're minor, and they don't change the like tonnage of anything or like mess anything up. So it's just.
No, but I am like going to hire an editor for like the next set of books.
It shows that it was handcrafted.
Indeed, it was very handcrafted.
Yeah, well, that's the thing about
I love that book.
Yeah, no, those quote flaws is what makes something unique and handcrafted. So,
I crave actual feedback is the other thing. I think a lot of the internet's kind of like, People don't really want that. They're just saying it's like, no. I mean, if you think it's, if you think it's caca, you need to tell me that.
I like
Or I won't
critiques as
change
long
it.
as they're kind, if they're mean
Yeah.
or,
If you don't be a dick about it, but
rude,
yeah.
then it's hard to accept them. But if it's like done in a kind way, like this table's too confusing, or like you smush too much stuff in one ginormous table, I can't read it, or whatever.
Yeah.
That's all legit.
Yeah. You need to know that so I can not do it in the future.
Exactly. Well, I can just move that table to another. I can break it up, or move it to half of it to another page, or whatever, or just change the format.
I gotta get this out of my system now. Whoever did Mongoose Central Supply Catalog, the one with the green stripe, which I think is first edition. Oh my God, I want to slap the layout artist because they had like these in-setting ads kind of in the game, in the book.
Mm-hmm.
There are like 2 pages of ads in between a chunk of a table and the other chunk of the table.
Oh.
And it's just like, did no one go through this book and go, dude, or dudette, or whatever, person in charge of this, could you maybe, I don't know, not make the table separated by 2 whole pages of fluff?
Mm-hmm.
Because that's kind of aggravating to have to go through to get to the other half of the table I'm looking for. Right. Especially when you did not read. Oh, not that also aggravates me. If you have to split your table onto multiple pages, kiddies, relabel your damn columns. So I don't have to go back 3 pages to find out what column does what.
Oh, you mean like continue the headings on each new table part instead of...
Yeah, if you're like, the mass column.
Right.
For stuff like, okay, if you have to go split it into another page, make sure that you note at the top the headers. Yeah, like this is the cost, this is the mass column, this is the special notes column, here's the required skill column. Because,
that's super helpful.
Yeah, I mean, that would save me having to scroll back up then. Because that's half of what I'm usually scrolling up for is like, wait, which column is this? Oh, okay, that does have auto fire. Okay, yeah, no. Whereas if that was actually properly labeled at the top of the broken column on the other page, I wouldn't need to flip and problem solved.
Right. Yep.
Just a layout note for future people who want to know about layout.
Yeah, my pet peeve is like when you have a table and you keep repeating the same symbols down the chart. Like if it's 10 credits, then 20 credits, and you keep putting credits after each thing. You just put at the top in the header cost in credits.
Yep.
And you put the numbers down the thing. You don't have to put the credit symbol after every number.
Oh God, no! Don't. Please, no. That's
my editing suggestion.
I concur with that. I second that motion.
So, what have you been up to since we saw you last, man? Have you been playing any video games or doing any tabletop or?
I gave up, like I said, I gave up Starfield because it's too easy.
Starfield, you were into it for a while there. I kept seeing you online.
Stupid fun. I love it. I mean,
what was your favorite part about it?
Because that's futurism. I'm not even gonna lie. That's what gave me the giddies about that game. Was
it has a cool style.
Mm-hmm.
Or aesthetic, honestly,
For a Bethesda story, it's probably the best one I've seen out of them in modern times. And I think that's what throws a lot of people is Emilio, weirdly enough, since he didn't have to, write about his family issues and actually was completely separated from that, crafted kind of a cool story, which I thought asked some interesting questions and was kind of groovy. And the ending literally was jaw-dropping the first time I played it. I was just like, wow. I can't believe Bethesda made a game again that was good.
That game got off to a rough start. What ended up happening, and how did you? I got kind of shaken off or by the rough start, but you persevered. What ended up happening? Did they smooth things over? Did they bring in some mods?
They've updated it. We got a buggy now. We get to drive around. And I found out I'm a shitty driver even in the virtual world. I'm terrible. Yeah, yeah, my character makes jokes about it all the time to the NPCs. Like, yep, that's why they gave me a driver, even though I was a sergeant.
Did you did that game give you like a Traveller feel, or was it different?
Oh God, the skills are so Traveller. Like, oh, you want to bribe somebody? Do you have bribery skill? No. Oh, well then no. No, you can't. Like, that's a new one. I like the challenge system. I know a lot of people hate it, but I got one for a mod that made you have to reload in order to deal. You had to reload like X number of times to get the next level. And if you do it up to your magazine capacity, because cheesy wanker mods, like I said, Bethesda builds power fantasies. But it did teach me to stop doing that video game reload after every shot thing, because it wouldn't count it unless the magazine was empty. So you had to literally drill down through the magazine and then reload it, which is a hard habit to break when you are a video gamer, because unlike the real army, you can just toss a magazine down like anywhere you want. Unless I guess you're playing Tarkov, in which case, because Tarkov is excellent at kicking players in the dick, you drop that magazine, whatever bullets are in it are going with it, which I think is awesome. Honestly, I'm a weirdo like that. But yeah, I modded it up.
No, that's cool, because like a magazine's a container, right? And then it contains bullets. So,
Yep.
you know, if you drop the magazine, it should drop all the bullets that are in the that are contained in the stack or whatever.
Yep. Well,
I was
the only
trying to
reason
do
I don't
something
play
similar for Cosmic Drifter, but I worked something else out.
cool. I mean, the only reason I'm not playing Tarkov is it's not controller compatible, because it is totally my kind of getting punched in the dick kind of game. I mean, I love Viva La Dirt for coming up with that phrase, because they did a whole thing about it. Oh no, they got a great skit where they're talking about they're doing the devs team, and they're like, "Yeah, it should be totally confusing." What? Yeah, if this game doesn't make you feel like you've been punched in the dick, we're probably not doing it. or, or it's just like, but do we really want that? And dude's like, yes, we do. And the truth is, yeah, there's a certain group of us who like
You
games
like
that,
difficult games,
yeah.
and would you say so? You're playing Stalker 2, and that's like,
Oh, Stalker 2. Oh, that game. I'm not gonna lie, dude. I've been through almost the whole game once. And then I realized I had packed completely all the wrong gear for the end game. And since I was doing mods anyway, and I had a problem with the reshade, I had to do a clean install and re-ramp. But yeah, I'm Operator Drewski, man. The mofo put me on to Gamma, and I'm just like, I'm waiting for Stalker 2 to become Gamma-esque in its play style. And there's a really good mod called Desolation that does a lot of that now. It's got more medicine. It's bandages don't heal; they just stop bleeding, which is logical. You know? Whereas in the base game, they're just another first aid kit, and it gives you health back, and it's just like, yeah.
so they have like they've got like a bleed out mechanic.
Oh yeah,
Uh-huh.
and they've also got the ever popular bleeding from everywhere because of radiation sickness. Was another thing Desolation put in, which is like, yeah, it won't kill you right away, mostly, but it's not going to be fun. And mutant loot, so you're killing mutants actually is worth the shit. Uh, like I said, it's got there's a bunch of items that are in the game right now, or in the mod right now, that don't really do anything yet. But when you get things like bullet casings and gunpowder as an item, that says crafting is coming eventually.
Right. Okay. Yeah.
My box is full of like tons of stuff I figure I might need later. I've got cups, I've got spare pairs of boots. I've
Well,
got.
that's a question I have for you about Starfield. Okay, so
Yeah.
when I was playing that, I was overwhelmed by like all the garbage that's like, I don't know if it's garbage, but like
Yeah,
everywhere
well,
there's like, test tubes and injectors and newspaper, like just it looks like garbage everywhere. And as a new player, I was never sure like what things I should collect. Like, is this stuff I could sell down the line, or is this stuff that I can use for crafting? And if it's not either of those things, why is it even there?
because Bethesda got hooked on there, you can mess with anything in the game deal. And yeah, they took crafting out of the damn system, which, was one of the good parts of Fallout 4. Swear to God, dude, for every new good thing they put into a game, they take something that was also good out. Like, you've got to have a balance between stuff that people will hate and people will love. And we'll balance it by taking stuff that people used to love and replace it with things that they're definitely going to hate. It's just like, what are you doing with that stuff? I mean, I see all these Morrowind and Daggerfall games that they put out, and it's just like, you got better engine and better computers. Why not do that again? Where's my damn spell crafting? Or why I hate Skyrim.
So, so I heard that you managed to get into a couple of Traveller games over the past year.
Not past year, past month, literally.
Oh, just over this past month. Wow.
Yeah, like literally just a couple weeks ago.
And how did you find these games? How'd you get involved in two different? Most people are like, I can't find a game, and you have two. Don't you think you're hoarding them a little? Why don't you share?
No, I think my character sheet says I have luck on it, and y'all just need to abide some luck. And if you didn't, that's not my fault. It's not a dump stat, kids. You need to play more Fallout, the original one. That was, oh my God, playing original Fallout with high luck is just so awesome.
Yeah, so tell me how you got involved in these two different games.
I saw a post about it because I was flipping through Traveller related stuff, and it popped up on my feed about this guy, and they were like, "Yeah, we're looking, Oh, somebody posted about it. My players just spent 4 real time in real life game time, real time hours in the game discussing about which of the 2 ships that they were going to keep, if they had gotten a lab ship and a free trader and a mercenary cruiser." And I was like, "Oh my God, that is super dope." And I kind of commented like, "Well, that sounds like hella fun." And he's like, "Well, we got a space open if you want." I'm like, "Yeah." I haven't played Traveller in forever. If you got a space open, I would like to play. And they let me in. And I spent weeks, well, like 2 weeks now, building my Lieutenant Colonel of the Marine Commandos of the 1931st Imperial Marine Regiment based out of Mylanor. And I mean, like, to the point where I wrote an entire abstract for his master's degree in small unit tactics, I think it was. And I wrote him a cover letter to introduce myself to the group. I gave him my resume, for like what my character had done. I mean, I like him too because he's a Mustang. Started out as a O1 or an E1 private and made it up to E6 gunnery sergeant within like my first 2-3 terms, and then went officer. And well, officers don't get as much chance to be promoted as enlisted do, I noticed. But I made it up to lieutenant colonel. I got to go to commando school as both an enlisted man and an officer. Staff college twice. Recruiting, actually. And I got, oh man, again, because I'm lucky. My character got both a military attaché and an aide-de-camp assignment, which got me some social and choice assignments, which was kind of dope.
Mm-hmm.
And then because the referee is doing other things with their life, obviously. They're running a bi-weekly game. And so there was another game that's being played by the alternate rep, which I also was invited to since I'm part of the first group. And that's where I'm playing my low class, my low Soch for Steward, but Steward 2. And I got in an argument with my captain already. And on the other hand, we calmed that down because.
Are you going to get court-martialed?
No, I can't. I'm a steward. I'm a civilian.
Yeah, right. Yeah, okay, right.
That character was in the merchant.
Gotcha.
For like a term. But yeah, we were at this point where they had to make a decision about which way we should go on the chart, on the star chart. Like, okay, do we go trailing or do we go rimward? And I'm like, dude, we go trailing because rimward is a subsidized liner. We know where they're going to be every damn time, They've got a route. They have to stick to it. But if we're tracing a free trader, we should get on that shit post-haste because free traders have this annoying habit of just going wherever. And if we're not hot on their tail, dude, we could lose them. And Captain was like, yeah, okay, that makes a whole lot of sense. Let's do that. Everybody else cool with that? We're all cool with it? Okay, we're going trailing. So that's where we left off. Is we're about to hunt down a bunch of free traders or a free trader boat that might have information about a rejuvenation process, apparently.
Oh.
That's in the game. Yeah.
Awesome. And so how'd you get involved in the second group?
That is how I got by getting involved in the first group.
Okay. Sorry. I missed the transition.
Sorry, my bad. But yeah, no. But yeah, I go lie. The second game I did just grab a pre-gen and was like, let's see where I can run with this. And so far, I'm kind of having cool with them. I mean, I actually did some steward stuff, even. It's kind of fun.
So you rolled up a fresh character for the first game, and then you did a pre-rolled for the second game.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And how do the two characters compare?
Vadim is far superior, dude. He's a 6-term Marine commando, lieutenant colonel with a master's degree, even though he technically did not do university. He got it through staff college. And he's got mad skills. He has mad money. So he is very well kitted out. Even after having crossed a bunch of stuff off my wish list, he still has camping gear, including Arctic gear. He's got 3 weapons, all of which he's good with. He has a 3 in tactics, so I can make our team Gouda, especially since I also have leadership, and I have the best skill outside of jack up all trades in classic Traveller. I have instruction. I am an instructor. I can teach people stuff.
Nice.
Dude, instruction, I learned early in the original group by the UWM group. Taught me how devastating instruction got. Because we had somebody with instruction with military skill, and they were just like, I'm just going to train everybody to use a gun. And it was like, wait, you could do that? Like, yeah, I have instruction. I went to college, And so, yeah, I got the Gouda skill. No Yacht, but if I had to pick a second skill to want in that game, instructor is definitely one, and I got instructor 2.
Nice.
So I can actually teach somebody a 1-level skill potentially, like tactics. So everybody can throw a tactics bonus at each other. You get super cheesy on the attack. I'm going to give my tactics roll to this person. They're going to give theirs to that person, and we're just going to daisy chain that shit back around. You take a +1 this round, eat it, enemies. Which, I mean, again,
everybody's going, look out to the person in front of them.
For real?
Yeah.
But, I mean, it's Traveller, and combat is devastating. So any cheesy stuff you can use to not die is, oh my god, Mongoose, oh my god, it's just first edition simple supply as far as I can tell, and it's got things like, oh, this site looks through wall. Wait, what? Yeah, it uses thermal imaging. It says, yeah, if they're not behind a certain thickness, I see you. I'm just like, wow, that was like battle dress level shit you had to have. And that was if the GM decided to be cheesy and be honest that, like, battle dress is gross.
Yeah, they have a lot of cool weapons and armor modifiers.
Oh my God, do they? Dude, I spent like a couple of grand on each weapon just buying them like secure DNA locks, biosensor sights, extra glued CZ electro sight that sees through walls. I think I have 2 different versions of that, maybe.
Is there like a friend and foe identifier?
There is, but I don't remember if I bought that or not. I know that it's one of the more expensive ones, as I recall, because you got basically one of the big things I do like about it too is it specifically says there's like a heads-up display that you can buy and put in like your shades or your combat armor visor.
Uh-huh.
But you have to pay 300. You have to pay like 250, I think it is, for every pickup that you had to a weapon to let that weapon interface with the heads-up display. And Mongoose has a really cool idea called Toughened, which lets you up the price for all your gear, but also says if you smack a fool with your rifle, you're not going to knock your sight out of whack or break it.
Oh.
So I spent a lot of money getting very tough stuff.
Right, yeah, cool.
I'm a Marine. I might have to hit somebody with my rifle.
Yeah, no, it's cool to have ruggedized stuff when you're like, especially if you can like drop something, or whatever. I have a multimeter that I've had since I was like 16 or 17, and I started working at this TV repair shop. I got this really nice fluke digital multimeter meter, but I got the rubber case too. And dude, I used to install antennas, and it fell off somebody's roof and survived and didn't crack.
That is the moment.
I was like, I'm so glad I got that rubberized, ruggedized case, man.
Yep, that's exactly why I spent all the extra money. I mean, I'm not gonna lie, dude. That dough, like, I think it's 1.5 times cost for everything that you put toughened on. And so, like, yeah, I spent like several $1,000s just toughening up sites and pickups and stuff because I'm just like, yeah, no. I know from real life that you can knock a gun out of screw just that quick. Every time you shoot it, you have to zero it, and that's just because natural wear and tear is going to throw it a little bit. Maybe not a lot, but if you don't pay attention, after a couple times, now you're shooting 6 inches to the right. Oopsie. I was never in the Marines, but I have studied the shit.
Ow, you shot your teammate. My sight's off.
Yep.
So what do you got planned for the next year between now and next Mayday? Will you be continue? You got gaming plans? You got any production plans?
I would like to actually get back to writing again because I'm stuck in a particularly hellish section of Stalker. I'm kind of not playing that because I'm just like, I don't want to deal with this guy. He's super horrible.
Are you stuck against a boss or something?
Yeah, one of them. And he's got a specific thing where he has this glowing lantern on his hip that you have to shoot and break before you can actually hit him. The problem is as long as he's got that lantern, he's creating duplicates of himself. Now, admittedly, they're mostly side duplicates or illusions over other people who are on the roof with him. But yeah, I'm trapped on a roof and everybody's trying to murder me. And for all my side protection and side block that I'd be taking and cigarettes I'd be smoking, he'd still be hurting the shit out of me. But I have since picked up a really nice set of armor that I don't think I had last time I faced him, and it has much better side protection. And so I'm probably going to end up doing that. It's just that, oh my God, I can't go onto the rooftop in my usual loot goblin way because I'm a loot goblin. Bethesda trained me to be a loot goblin. So the hardest part about playing Stalker 2 is not picking every goddamn thing up. And that was a mistake I made on my first run through. Is by the time I got to the roof, I had way overweighted myself. I was way over encumbered, couldn't move very fast, and I was getting slaughtered. So I have to do something very against type, which is just load the shit I need and only pick up things I absolutely need. Med kits, stimulator, injectors and ammunition, but leave everything else alone because we don't need it and it's not going to help. Which is just the hardest thing for me. Because I'm a total loot goblin, and it's very much against my type to just leave people on the floor with all their stuff. I mean, I'm the kind of guy who, would grab a mod that's like, let me strip everybody down to the undies in like Skyrim. It's like, nope, I'm taking all your armor, I'm taking all everything. I'm leaving here in indignity. Have a nice day. Can't do that on this one.
So you got do you have your eye on any upcoming Traveller expansions or any projects?
I'd like to actually, like I said, I would like to run my Parthian campaign and see how that goes. I got a couple ideas for things. It's just really honestly, at this point, I'm at the stage of I just want to hand stuff to people who are like vaguely competent in writing and being like, have a day. Here, I will give you a big chunk of the incoming net worth of that in exchange for you making it, sound better.
You want to be the idea pitch guy?
That's pretty much. I'm the mechanic. I build shit. That's really where I gain my fun. I like crafting ideas into things. I like making the ships. I like making the worlds. I like building characters. The writing can be a chore. The writing, the actual writing of all the fluff and descriptive text and stuff is literally the hardest part of the book every time. I love building them. I love talking to the draft people, my artists, and being like, yeah, do this and this maybe. And and it comes down to making it into an actual book, and that's super hard. I have way more respect for prodigious authors than prolific authors than I used to, especially when they're good.
Yeah, yeah. Like Stephen King puts out so much stuff. It's like, how does he do that?
No, I said good, sir.
Well, no, I'm just saying. Well, some people would argue, but I'm just saying, like, he's prolific and he puts out like.
Oh yeah, some of your stuff is good. I mean, I'm not gonna lie.
You're putting out a lot of stuff. Not everything's good,
I like his story about the dude fighting the little army men in his house. That shit was just awesome. But no, I like CJ Carey's Alliance Union Compact stuff, and I'm also found another series that she's been writing about aliens and humans on a planet where the humans are not particularly in a good place because they're stranded. They ended up on the world by accident. The only reason they're not still swooping through hyperspace is because their navigator pilot reached down and pulled the cloud handle and said, nope, we got to exit wherever the hell we are. And that leads to a first contact situation. And the story basically is about the humans ambassador to the aliens, which is pretty dope. Because she and Jane do really good aliens. They're alien.
Oh, cool. Hey, you want to answer some random questions of interest?
Sure, I can do that.
All right, cool. You got any? This is a D66 table, so you'll need a 6-sider or a couple 6-siders.
Oh God, I don't know if I have those on me, Jared. Honest to goodness, I know you think as a gamer I would have dice everywhere, but actually I don't anymore. So, like I said, I'm just going to go D66 numbers. So 36.
Okay. You just make them up, I suppose.
I know how D66 table works, sir. I made a couple.
You have to roll dice, sir. You must roll the dice, sir.
Okay. I don't want to have up into the other room and deal with all the hacking and coughing that's going to have.
Okay. What's the wildest Starport bar story your Traveller characters have ever been involved in?
I have never been in a Starport bar.
Never been in a Starport bar. All right.
I mean, the wildest one is I literally just had one the other day, and I did steward stuff. I welcomed our soon-to-be potentially chief engineer into the door. I think I surprised our captain because, like, the guy knocked on the door, and I immediately got up and was like, "Hello, how do you do? Are you the so-and-so? Yes, you are. Okay, come over here." Sat him down, moved their chair up, made sure they had all their goodies. The cat was like, "Oh my god, did steward stuff?" It's like, "Yeah, well, I did the job." But that's about as close as I've been to a Starport bar as a character.
Okay, all right. Pick another.
I don't lie. Yeah, pick another one or no?
Yep, pick another.
65.
65.
Oh, yeah. Not last, almost last. And ultimate.
What's your favorite MegaCorporation in Traveller, and would you work for them?
Ooh. Nercirca? And hell yeah, because I'm all about some robot rights, baby. AI are people too.
All right, all right. All right. You want to do another?
Sure. 22.
22. If you were a noble in the Traveller universe, how would you use your influence?
Tackle Dolanor now!
What?
Well, technically, I do have a card that says I'm 7th Captain of the Imperial Guard, which means I'm on the 7th step below the Emperor, which means I need to tackle Dolanor before he can get his gun out.
Okay.
No, that didn't happen. Honestly, though, for reals, I'm no bushel believes my peoples. You know, that, like, if I'm going to play a noble, I play a working noble. You know, I've always rather liked Cleon the Third. Or not Cleon the Third, the second, I think it is. Not the mad one, who I think is 3. 2, I think, is the one who was like, yeah, the Emperor thing. Hey, I'm very about the Empire, but I do not want to be in charge of it. And so he abdicated and went off to just be a cheerleader and troubleshooter. And that's kind of my guiding principle on being a noble and traveler is, you know, be the best we can because we're Johnny on the spot. You know, this is age of sail kind of shit. You know, titles actually mean things because you're expected to do jobs. You know, you are the person on the position when the thing is happening. It's your decision. And no one can take that away from you, unfortunately for you, because it's your thing. You have to figure it out. I mean, you know, I'm also the kind of noble who might not look too keen, you know, too closely at people coming over my fence if I happen to know the government's not particularly a bunch of good people. I tend more toward the good guy noble. I am trying to make the universe a better place.
All right. So, you're going to leave the universe better than you found it.
Yep. Campers.
Try to, anyway. All right, man. So if people want to get in touch with you, or are you on the socials? Do you have a Discord?
I have a Facebook page that I occasionally post it when I'm feeling like a human being almost.
That's under Thornwood-Daarnulud, or is that under? Okay.
Thornwood-Daarnulud, my smiling little Fuji face. And there's the Discord, which is also Thornwood-Daarnulud LLC, which is probably the best place to find me because that pretty much gets opened up whenever I turn on my computer. So If I'm at my machine,
You're lurking.
yeah. I'm always there. But yeah, Facebook and Discord is pretty much it.
All
We
right.
don't have any of the other happy doodles because I'm kind of a hermit.
All right. Yeah. It's fun to be antisocial to an extent.
Yeah, it has its moments. I'm not gonna lie.
That's funny. I enjoy being eccentric.
Yeah,
All right, man.
yeah, sure. Only people with money are allowed to be eccentric.
I'm poor and eccentric. I'm ahead of my time.
Hey,
I'm setting trends.
hell yeah.
All right, man. Well, everybody, I just want to thank you, Craig, for coming in and chatting with us and sharing your love of Traveller and your passion for adventure with us. Thank you so much.
You're quite welcome. Thank you for having me again.
And thank you, dear listeners, for joining us for this Mayday Mayday 2025. Until next time, happy traveling. Don't fly solo through the galaxy. Click like to join our alliance. Subscribe for your crew pass and enable notifications to never miss an encounter. This journey is fueled by my patrons. Thank you, patrons. Feel the thrill of discovery. Become a patron and join the adventure.